episode 7 of Comic View overall, I thought the energy felt good. Like, everybody energy felt good. I don't know if I necessarily laughed. Like, I didn't laugh to anybody until Delay. But I know about Delay. I've seen Delay before. I've laughed at Delay before. He went last, which he should have won last. Delay was the best. Like, when he was telling his story, the fact that you did a whole story pretty much about going to the bathroom, it was a little slightly deeper than that. But pretty much going to the bathroom, it's crazy. And, like, when he was telling the story, like, I literally saw it in my brain. When I think of something, if I'm thinking about writing a story or something, I can see it in my brain very vividly if I'm thinking of my own story. But I literally visualized this like exactly how he was talking. Like, I literally visualized every little thing. He's one of the only ones, I think, in the whole episode to actually end on an actual bang for real, like an actual plot twist. Like, he was saying all this, and then he's saying, he left the bathroom, he fainted, and then, because he had took out his bathroom, opened the clothes of his shoes and socks, because he was raised right. So he took it off, but he came out the bathroom, and you just assumed that he put his clothes back on. He didn't say that part in the story that, hey, okay, I put all my clothes back on, then I left. He didn't say that. He also didn't say, ooh, I flushed the toilet. You just assumed he flushed the toilet, right? So, and then he was like, at the end, he was like, everybody was looking at him, but because he was still naked. Like, he forgot to put his clothes back on. I'm like, child, that's how you end with a bang. Like I said, if you telling a short story, I think you should end with like a birth. Who knows? No, like a, is that a wraparound? What do you call that? Not a U-turn. A redirect. Everybody energy felt good. I just didn't necessarily laugh. Like, pretty much. Well, the second dude, Derek Fleet. I didn't say who it was. Takara was the first. Then it was Derek Fleet. Then it was Delay. And his name round, I don't know if that's his real name, but he used Fleet. Remember Fleet was the bird back a while ago. That Fleet, it's on Fleet, it's on Fleet, it's on Fleet, meaning on point. So I don't know if that's his actual name. Maybe he just didn't rhyme Derek Fleet, but it worked because I did remember it. Like, I never seen him before. Anywhere, actually, I don't believe. So if I have, I don't remember it. But he was the only person I didn't know, and I remembered his name. So, but I also did doing this right after I said let's saw the episode, so I can have a better memory of what I just saw. So yeah, Takara was telling stories. I've seen Takara before. I've liked some of her stuff. Hearing that. I think she was in the first, when I did it last season too. I think she was in it. It's cool, but I'm not necessarily laughing. Like, it's not boring. It's entertaining enough. Like, she told like, I would guess many stories about her, going to Bahamas, going on a cruise and stuff like that. But hers at Derek Fleet felt a little basic. Like, I feel like, how many times are women gonna talk about farting in front of their men on stage? Just like certain stuff. I mean, but also too, you don't want to do. It's like a weird thing, because I know as a comedian, you want to do material that people can know that you're good and want to see you, but you also don't want to use your complete best. So it's like a weird thing. You have to figure out what to do. You want it to be good enough, but you also don't want to be something that you use like in a special or something. So I know that's like that would be like a tough spot to figure out what to do, what not to do. And like I said, if you don't know when this will air, so you can't do nothing dating. Well, you can, but it just ain't gonna be good, and people won't be like, what's going on? Like this, because you never know how long. Unless you're in charge of something, when you put it out, you don't know how long something is going to be shelved. Well, if this didn't come out to 2 years later, then you already talking about something that just happened. People aren't going to be like, it's going to be dated. Like I said, if you can control when to put it out, then fine. You can maybe do stuff like that. But if you cannot, like you don't necessarily know, then you shouldn't do that. So pretty much, I don't think anybody on these episodes have been doing it. Don't quote me, but I do not think, because I would have had a disdain for it if they did. So I'm thinking anybody been doing like dating stuff, which is good. They've been doing mostly personal stuff, I think, for the most part. Then Derek Fleet was talking about, pretty much the 90s, but the difference in the 90s and now, then hairstyles and stuff like that. He said something, pump it up, but when he said that, I immediately thought of Joe Budden. And I was like, but that wasn't the 90s. So I was like, you want people to be able to follow along with your saying. But his energy was good. Like I said, Takara energy was good. They have great stage presence. Like, everybody had a maiden stage presence. Like, that's what I can say. Their stage presence was top tier. Everybody's. Like, and that's like just half the battle, mostly. like if you have this stage present and people feel like they like you're gonna get a good response. I feel like episode 7 was shot first. It was something CP said. He was like, he basically did an introduction to the show and what it was gonna be like. Oh, you know how we do 3 comedians gonna come out. He pretty much explained what the format was gonna be, but he didn't do that. I'm thinking the other one. So maybe this one was shot first. Don't quote me. I don't know. And two, for future reference, I feel like they should, whoever the host is, he should wear the same thing with all episodes. I know people probably maybe don't want to do that, but he should wear the same thing with all the episodes so you can choose what you want to put where. Like being pigeonholed to put, but then too, they keep showing the audience and the audience change. So either have the same audience for every episode or maybe don't show the audience as much. I don't know. I do a Comic View here and there back in the day. They did show the audience, but it didn't look like a small area. But I don't know how they shot that back in the day too. Like how many episodes they shot, I really don't know either. So, all right, I just feel like you have more leeway if the comedian has the same outfit on, because if something happened and you have to turn something around, that would be easy to do it. It won't throw anything off. Everybody on the episode looked good. Like the fashion was good. Like everybody know, hey, I'm about to be on TV, so hey, I gotta get dressed. It looked like there was like a designer for everybody. I don't know about everybody. Maybe I'm just to focus on this episode, but it just feel like everybody had a design. But you know, black people, like they like, hey, if there's an event, we gonna dress. Like if it's something, all of us gonna be there, be dressing. We gonna come out with the best. So I thought everybody looked good as far as like their fit and stuff and just overall look. But over and be wanting to have like plaits and stuff. Like if you're really over 30, but definitely over 40, I'm like, I don't know why older men want to have like braids and plaits. Like, I don't understand. It just like, it don't look good. It don't look mature. It look like kitty. I don't know why men want to do that. But anywho, you know, all men now is wearing crop shirts, crop jackets, crop everything. All men is wearing crop. Crop is the style right now. How skinny jeans was a thing back today. Now everybody is crop down. A crop suit, a crop suit jacket, a crop. People having crop trench coats, like it's crop everything. Comic View episode 8. I feel like this is probably one of the first ones shot. I don't know, don't quote me. It just felt like that. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that's what it felt like. I think this was the best CP has did on this was his best episode by far. Like by far. It wasn't even close. Like he was doing the thing about he thought ramen noodles was ramen noodles the whole time, although it's spelled that way on the package. It's not spelled with a Y on the package, but I'm like, Chad, he can't read. But no. But then he will say about the Asian people spelling pho, but it's spelled PHO. But I'm like, you get that, but you don't get it. Ramen. It was ramen, but whatever. I thought, yeah, this is his best episode by far. And I feel like usually you start with your best stuff and then you just have to scramble after that. That's why I felt like this was probably one of the early episodes. Because usually it's not reverse. You don't save your best material for last. It's not when you're doing something like this. Usually you do it earlier, then you just wing it from there. I didn't know anybody on this one. I thought that T-Bar, I didn't personally like. I didn't think she's funny. Like I think she had good presence. She was very pretty. She had dimples. Her hair was slick, child, real slick, real good. I didn't like her person as far as her comedy. She had the presence. Like she seems like she's cool and people should probably like her. And a lot of times when you're charismatic and people like you can just get away with more stuff. Like people are going to say you did good or not mind you on stage if it's not funny, as long as like you're charismatic, which she, like I said, she had that. She was very charismatic. It just wasn't funny at all. It was almost like she didn't have any material. She was like just pulling teeth. I'm like, did she think about this before she came out? With just her winging it because it was that bad. But like I said, her presence was so good that you didn't feel it. It was like, to me, like silence break. Sometimes you need a silence break, but it has to come when it's needed, like off of something funny. You give the audience a time to come down, but she didn't need that. And then Lance Woods, when he first came out, he told the joke and he immediately started talking about women. I was like, okay. Is he supposed to be like a Corey Holcomb? It wasn't funny at first. I'm like, it was like Corey Holcomb is funny. So when he say messed up stuff, not like on his podcast or something like that, but when you do it on a stand up way, like in a stand up, it's like whatever, it can be funny. But when you just talking, saying mess up stuff about people, no, that's not funny. But when you do it in a stand up comedian way, comic way, then yes, it's funny. So I feel like I was like, is he trying to be Corey Holcomb or something? And then he made me laugh hard. I don't know. This is so stupid. When he was talking about his mother told him he needed to take something down. He's like, I was raised right. I ain't talking about my mother. So I logged in my account and signed it to a new account. And then he cussed his mom out. And then, okay, but then you would think that would have been it. But he took it further. He was like, okay. Then my wife came in and said something about, oh no, you don't talk to this. He said, I always want to say something to my wife. So I logged out of my account and logged into another account. And then, he was like, he cussed the wife out, telling her fat and all types of stuff. Although he just said at the beginning that he didn't want no skinny woman because she can't sit down in the movie seat without the chair lifted up. So I'm like, okay. But they kind of tied together. But that beginning part when he was talking about women, he didn't need it. Not because it's like offensive. It just wasn't funny compared to his other stuff. But I guess it kind of did tie. If you think about women, it can count about his mother and his wife, I guess. I knew it was going to end with him saying he forgot to log out he going to make a comment and not log out of his actual account. I knew he was going to make that comment. I just know when. It kind of felt foul a little bit, but like the wife and mother thing I thought was funny. I heard that maybe before, people do that they send negative comments as another account, like Kevin Durant or whoever was caught doing it one time. Like people do that, but like, he said his dad jumped in and he was like, you know what, you always been a deadbeat father. And then he was like, I forgot to log out of my account, but it was something but that was missing. I'm not a comedian, so I ain't gonna tell him how to struck up something, but that it just missing some slight detail or word or something. Like it didn't hit hard enough. Like I said, I knew that was going to be in it, which is fine, but it just didn't hit. The redirect wasn't enough for me. Oh, my fault. I was reading, I don't know anybody's name, so I was reading the description. The person that I just talking about was Mario Hodge. And then the last person was Lance Wood. Lance Wood, I didn't think he was good either. They should have flipped him around. Mario should have went last, and then Lance maybe should have went in the middle. Said, yeah, because it wasn't good. Or he should have went first. Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, he spent a lot of time talking about white women, which is cool, but it just felt weird. What he had on wasn't it. Actually, I didn't really like what none of them had on this episode, but then the Mario Hodge guy was saying, like, his wife picked out his pants, and he did look a mess. It was like a lot of patterns. It was like camo jacket, but then jeans with rhinestones, and he was saying, he was like, a gay man complimented him saying, oh, I thought he was gay. Oh, bitch, where'd you get them jeans from? Like, he's like, okay, I didn't know I was dressing like that. My wife, I need to stop letting my wife pick out my clothes. But it's like, if you know you look a mess, why don't you, maybe he did for the joke. You know what? Maybe he looked like, dressed like that for the joke. And if that's the case, cool. I ain't mad at it if you did it for the joke. But if you knew it didn't look, you did it anyway. But yeah, maybe somebody said it backstage. He's like, oh, let me add it in. I don't know if he had it to do all that. But if you did it for the joke, cool. But okay, like Lance Woods, he just wasn't great. I didn't love his stage presence. Like the other dude, it was like Mario Hodge was kind of like nonchalant, but he was like funny. Like I said, at first when he first came outside, I was like, "What is going on?" But then like it really picked up. Some people take longer time to get going, and like I said, it did pick up. I did to shift me from being like, no, in the first minute to, I'm actually laughing. That's like a talent to do. So, and like I said, he was like a nonchalant. So nonchalant can be funny depending on how you do it. It's almost like dry humor type. It wasn't dry humor, what I'm saying. Like dry humor is just like very matter of fact. And you say it in a calm way, but it's just so funny how you saying it. So yeah, he was by far the best in this episode. I think CP definitely, this is by far his best episode so far. And like the T-Barb, I feel like she older, her name T-Barb. Well, it don't matter. I don't know about that Nick pick. But I thought we will probably see her more stuff, like I said, because she's going to be likable. She's one of the people that people like. Like I Miss Pat, whether you think she's funny or not, people like her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she's probably going to, you probably going to see more of her probably. I see. That's how you know Lance Woods wasn't good, because I keep talking about it a little, or then going back to other people. It just wasn't. Like the present wasn't good. How he looked wasn't good. Not like his face and things, like his clothes wasn't good. It just was. I really didn't care about it. And because he did the basic joke that everybody do: a black woman take their hair off when they go to sleep. It's like, how many times we gonna talk about black women's wigs and them taking it off and putting it on the nightstand? How many jokes are we gonna tell like that? Like, oh my god, either these people are watching for me, or are they thinking their original thought is original thought? But guess it is original thought. If you never heard it before, it came in your brain. Guess technically it's an original thought, but it's like, it's so surface. Comedy been around for a long time. You don't think nobody already done told a black woman her joke about a wig? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least Tony Roberts told a wig joke, but it was more creative. He was saying even her wig had dandruff. That is hilarious to say. A wig has dandruff. Like, no one, I'm not saying no one thought about that or could think about it or whatever, but it's just like, if you don't tell something basic, think about the most outlandish. Think of something that nobody thought about. You just saying, no, black woman took her wig off. It's like, whatever. It felt like this wasn't his audience. Lance Woods, it felt like this wasn't his audience. But it seems like maybe he used to having a different type of crowd, and he was trying to cater to the crowd, but he just felt inauthentic. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying that's what it felt like.